Baltimore. I was surprised. I didn't realize that the Star Spangled Banner wasn't the national anthem until 1931.
That's right. And right out here, absolutely, right out here it all happened. And we're sitting on the Inner Harbor here in Baltimore, which in a way reminds me a little bit of Stockholm, Sweden, in the sense that this whole city is just built right around this water, and it's beautiful.
Yep.
All right, coming up this morning, we're going to take a look at what makes Baltimore, Baltimore. We're talking bucket brigades and beehive hairdos, old-time peddlers, and some polka places.
And, of course, couldn't come to Baltimore unless we could talk a little bit about the Orioles. The Birds, they call them here, or the O's. For a while, the O's was the number of wins that they had. They got almost into May before they won their first game, but they are still very beloved here. Amazingly, despite their terrible record, their attendance is up over last year. This town very proud of the Orioles. We're going to have two great Orioles stars, Frank Robinson and Brooks Robinson, the two Robbies, and they're going to be with us in this half hour. Right now, we go to Washington. The news, some of the local fans are calling them the Zeros this year, but they call them that with affection, because there is something endearing about futility, and it is extraordinary that despite the fact the Orioles have a record that is, well, bad, I guess, the attendance this year at Orioles games actually up over last year. Time was the Orioles were the class of baseball, led by a couple of guys named Robbie, a nickname from the last name they share. Brooks Robinson, maybe as good a fielder at third base as ever played the game, and he is now the team announcer. And Frank Robinson, superstar outfielder, most valuable player, and now a man of consummate patience as he manages the Orioles. They both join us this morning, and it's great to have you two here.
Nice to be here. Thank you, Charlie.
It is extraordinary. I mentioned the attendance question, Brooks. It really is surprising that despite the fact the Orioles probably will lose more than 100 games this year, or could well, attendance is up over last year. What is it about this town?
Well, the fact is we're the only game in town. I mean, the football team left a few years ago, but it's just the fact that the fans love the game of baseball, and this was primarily a football town early. The Colts won the World Championships back in '58 and '59, and since then it has become a baseball town. And the fans are going to come to the ballpark to see the game more than anything else right now.
Yeah, it was extraordinary. You come back from a road trip, Frank, you draw 25,000 last night. Won one, too. So I've got to get into the plug there. But it is extraordinary. They really stick with you, good or bad times.
They've been outstanding, and the support that they've given us has been just great, and it's helped us over the tough times, and we're still not out of the woods yet, but it's been amazing the way the fans have supported us.
Is it part of it what Brooks mentioned? You lost the football team in this town. They lost the basketball team. They went to Washington. Is there a fear about losing the Orioles in this town?
I think there was a fear, certainly, but now they're going to have a new ballpark downtown. They have a long-term lease, so I think that that's past now.
All gone and done?
I think so. The fans, you know, also we've been a very successful franchise over the years, Charlie, as you said a little earlier, and the fans just fell in love with us. I know we had trouble drawing 1 million people when we were playing, but a few years ago in the '70s or whatever, the fans just started turning out.
Which brings you to the point of this town is not used in baseball to losing. I mean, it is such a shock that the Orioles, which were considered to be such a model organization, are all of a sudden in deep, deep trouble.
I think what the fans, we're finally honest with the fans and say, hey, we are in trouble. The organization's in trouble, the Major League team's in trouble. We're going to have to rebuild, starting with the farm system and right on up through the Major League Ball Club.
How do you motivate a ball player when he knows basically the team's not going to win the pennant as early as May 1st?
Well, I think personal pride and his performance on the field, and also having pride in the uniform that he has on. And also that you're not always, in this game, you don't always play for one ball club. There are 25 other ball clubs in this baseball, and they look at ball players, especially when times are like this. What are they made of? How do they perform? How do they go about their job?
Brooks, you go around announcing, so you meet the other announcers, meet the other teams. You getting teased this year?
Oh, I'm getting teased something awful. You would not believe it. I mean, it was like a World Series when we were losing all those ball games early in the year. I mean, we had more sports writers than fans at several ballparks, and I really have to... Frank was just unbelievable. He's been unbelievable since he took over the ball club. We've had a tough time, but things are going to turn around.
Well, I kept saying to people, I keep getting teased down the air when you were going through those 21 losses, Frank, and I kept saying, listen, you know, this is a ball club that deals in superlatives. I mean, the whole country is talking about a last-place ball club. How often does that happen to your team?
That's right. I felt sorry for you, Charlie. I really did.
No. I felt a lot sorrier for you. What do you say to the team in a locker room when you're in something like that?
Not much. Really, there's not much to say. The thing about, I asked them to go out and play hard for me. They played hard. They tried. We knew why we weren't winning. We knew that. And It's nothing I could really say. I talk with individuals more than the team itself.
Yeah.
Well, he said something to him one night. I mean, he blew high sky over Kansas City.
There was one very, Kansas City got 9 runs in the first couple
innings? First inning.
First inning, yes. And you had some sharp words at that point.
That was the first ball game and the only ball game, really, since I've been the manager of the ball club, that I thought the ball club quit. They just accepted losing. And I wanted them to know right away that I wasn't going to allow that, and I didn't think that they should do that.
Frank Robinson, Brooks Robinson, great treat to have you here. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming.
Got something for you, though, John.
Oh, you got something for me.
Yeah, you're gonna really, you can suffer in style.
All right.
All right.
All right. Hey, that's great. That's great.
Suffer in style.
That's great. That's marvelous. I love it. Win a few, and I may even wear it a lot. Frank Robinson, Brooks again. Thanks very much. Okay. It's now 43 minutes after the hour. We'll be back.
And you are looking at Baltimore's shot tower. Back in the early 800s, they made gunshot by pouring molten lead in drops into the icy water 200 feet below. And the shot tower is just one of many landmarks, of course, that makes Baltimore uniquely charming. And recently we dispatched Steve Fox to find out about some of the other standouts here in Baltimore on the back.
You don't have to spend all that much time traveling around Baltimore or the surrounding areas to get a sense that there's something interesting about this place. Now, I am not talking about the much ballyhooed economic renaissance or the flourishing harbor area or even the astonishing loyalty of the Baltimore Orioles fans. I'm talking instead about the feeling you get that this town has character and characters.
I'm going to Liberty and Toyota. York McCabe, I'm going to Lock Lincoln and Argyle, I'm going to 25 and Garrett, I'm going to Belly and Urban.
Hope Spruill is a yellow cab dispatcher. She trained once to be an auctioneer, but decided she liked dispatching better. To me, she was a miracle in motion.
Come on, drivers, I'm good, but it's rough doing it alone.
A miracle that she could talk that fast, and a miracle that the cab drivers at the other end of the radio could understand her.
They know what I'm talking about. I'm calling speed intersections. And when they want to bid on a job to get to an address, they only zero in on the streets that I'm calling. They totally eliminate all the other funny stuff that I'm saying.
450, do I have a name down here?
I don't know. What does your mother call you?
How about some directions to Memorial Stadium?
Sure. When you leave here, you're going to get on Lexington Street. You're going to get on Lexington Street and take the Monroe. When you get to Monroe, you're going to get to Park Circle and make a right. Make a right at Park Circle and follow on down to the Joy Park Drive. Down to the Joy Park Drive, take 20
Pat Santarone is the head groundskeeper at Baltimore's Memorial Stadium. His crew keeps the grass green and the stands clean after every home game. Sometimes they find amazing things left behind by forgetful fans.
You want to know the most unusual thing I've ever seen, and it's happened more than once, quite a few times, when Pa took his boy to the ball game on Saturday, and he jumps up and leaves them and forgets he brought the boy to the ball game. And now everybody's gone. You see some little kid sitting up in the stand there and say, "Son, you looking for something?" "I'm looking for my dad." And his dad left.
While the Orioles are struggling, Pat enjoys an unbroken winning streak that stretches back about a quarter century. You see, he grows tomatoes in the left field foul area, and never has a visiting manager or player come up with a tomato bigger than Pat's. Never. Not even his old friend Earl Weaver, his partner in a plant food business.
No, half the tomatoes are his and half are mine. And when the tomatoes finally get big and get ripe, we see who grows the biggest one.
Who wins?
He hasn't won in 25 years.
The Maryland Hunt Country is the home of horses, breeders, and fanciers, including ABC's own Jim McKay. When he's not broadcasting the Olympics or covering a race somewhere, Jim spends time at his 45-acre farm watching his thoroughbreds grow and his family enjoy them. Last year, the Maryland Million Race was won by a McKay horse, Sean's Ferrari. Jim called it the thrill of a lifetime.
Along the inside, here comes Sean's Ferrari. They race down the wire to the finish.
Do you do this as a hobby, or is this a business for you?
Well, it is a business. It has to be, Steve, because, you know, building a barn like this and fences and keeping these horses is a great expense, a tremendous expense. So if you don't sell horses or if you don't win races or have a combination of the two, people like us, we'd be out of this business in no time at all.
So you can't just do it for the love of it, you're saying?
You can if you want to, but you better be a billionaire.
Blob's Park is a local institution started more than half a century ago by German immigrant Max Blob. On weekends, 500 or 600 people make the trip to Jessup, Maryland for a taste of German food, a glimpse of old world nostalgia, and a whirl around the polka floor. Take a look at these folks, the junior national polka champions.
Oh, I love this place. I love Germany.
And this reminds you of Germany?
Oh yes, definitely.
Can I try sauerkraut?
Sure. Oh.
That is good sauerkraut.
It is. Great.
1, 2, 3, 4.
2-5 in Maryland, anyone around down the Bonds, anyone around the Eagle and Valley, anyone around the Federal and Gang. Federal and Gang. And when you've done all you're able, take your cab back to the stable, and that's it. We're out of here.
And she is great. Thank you, Steve. Coming up next, only in Baltimore, right after this. The charm of Baltimore. Row houses with freshly polished marble steps, only in Baltimore.
And it's now 7:53. There are many unique traditions in this city of Baltimore, and probably nobody knows them better than Spencer Christian, who used to live here for quite a while he was doing weather in the city of Baltimore. All right, Spencer, how about them marble steps? Tell us about them.
Well, Charlie, you know, they're so white and clean when you drive through the various neighborhoods where they exist that you'd think no one had ever walked up these steps. What happens is that people here take great pride in their white marble steps because they're such a trademark in Baltimore, and they get out 2-3 times a week to scrub and clean and wash these steps in all kinds of weather extremes. I met a lady a few days ago when I was here for a pre-broadcast visit, 82 years old, in all kinds of weather. She said she goes out and scrubs her steps just to keep them clean.
I can see how they divide up the duties in each house. You do the dishes, you do the cooking, and you do the steps.
That's right.
That's right.
I think that the people here have kind of been, I don't know, wrapped up in all this Renaissance fever, because people do seem to take great pride in their homes and go to extreme efforts.
Yeah, people do take great pride in their homes here, not just in keeping their marble steps clean, but there's an old Baltimore tradition called screen painting here, where people have the screens on their doors and their windows painted by screen painters or screen paint artists. This is a very old tradition here, and they paint pastoral scenes, skyline scenes, animals, whatever they decide they want on their screens in vivid colors, and there's some very, very artistic work being done on these screens.
When there's paint on the outside, can you see through them?
You can see through them from the inside. I guess people passing by, because of the glare of light, may have difficulty seeing inside your house, but certainly if you're on the inside, you can see out.
All right, and then there's that extraordinary tradition. There's a lot of carts running around town, horse-drawn carts. What are those?
That's right. You could call them little horse-drawn truck farms of sorts. These people are known as Arabs. That's the way they pronounce it, Arabs. And what they do is they sell fresh fruit and vegetables on the streets of Baltimore. It's, again, a very, very old tradition. At one time, there were as many as 25 horse stables around the city of Baltimore that provided horses for the fruit and vegetable Arabbers. Now there's just a handful of those stables around.
All right, Spencer, thanks very much. Interesting, some of the stuff that makes Baltimore.
Baltimore. Hey, I caught on to that real quick. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Good Morning America is brought to you by General Foods Corporation. Satisfying your family is what we're all about.
And that is the Baltimore Wind Quintet. Playing us off in this
Mount Vernon Place. And we have a nice crowd around us here in the Inner Harbor. We've got a high camera. We've cued them all.
Look at them
all.
Wave
at the World Trade Center.
Saying hello to Good Morning America.
Nice to have them here this morning. We got a second hour coming up.
You bet. The mayor is going to be with us, Mayor Smoke. He'll talk about kids and guns. That's a dangerous combination, a problem for cities all across this country.
And why else would we come here but to have a few crabs?
Absolutely.
We're going to show you how to crack crabs, how to pick them, and how to eat them, too. That's absolutely critical.
Around.
So stick around. Second hour coming up.
Hotel accommodations provided by the Gracious Harbor Court Hotel, located on Baltimore's exciting Inner Harbor.
This morning, the Senate has voted overwhelmingly to revise the welfare system, putting the emphasis on welfare recipients working.
And I'm Joan Lennon, also in the news. The investigation into Pentagon bribery charges has widened now to include the offices of several members of the House of Representatives. Spencer.
Well, Joan, wherever it rains today, that's good news for drought sufferers, even here in Baltimore, where showers are expected.
And good morning again, everyone, from Baltimore. You are looking at the star attraction of one of the star tourist attractions here in Baltimore. That is a new harbor seal pup that was born just a couple of days ago, 2 days ago, I think.
It's so cute.
It is adorable. And behind us is the aquarium. We are here on the inner harbor of Baltimore. And the aquarium is an extraordinary thing that they have built here. It really is a marvelous place. 1 million gallons of water in there. So you walk right down through the fish. It's a great place. Got to go there.
I think about 8,000 specimens or something. I know I'm going to come back here and bring the kids back here. Got to see it. Did you notice that the little seal was applauding you?
No, he was applauding you.
It's Friday morning. It's June 17th.
Yes, and I'm Charles Gibson. Nice to have you with us this morning. We are spending the morning in Baltimore. Real pleasure to be here. It is the 12th largest city in the country, and a city with a sort of a Cinderella story to tell, because this was a very depressed area around the inner harbor of Baltimore until a few years ago, and there's been an extraordinary revitalization project here, and accomplished really in this city without Baltimore sacrificing its traditions or its past. But of course, this city, like so many others, faces all the problems that major urban areas face, and we're going to talk about one of those, particularly acute here in Baltimore. It is a problem of kids who carry guns into school, around school areas, into parks, and we'll be talking with the mayor of Baltimore, among others, about that problem.
It's an interesting city, too, because tradition and change both really coexist beautifully here. It's a big city, but it really has kind of a small-town feeling. We're going to take a look at some of the things that kind of make the place what they call the land of pleasant living. And, of course, that means we're going to be sampling Maryland crab cakes. We'll be listening to some doo-wop music, and also we'll find out why Hollywood has kind of fallen in love with Baltimore. Right now, though, we will get the news from Karen Stone.
I can't take another one. I can't take this. Oh, God, please, Lord, please don't take my baby.
A mother's anguished cry as another youngster is shot down on the streets of Baltimore, this time over a drug deal gone bad. But kids are killing kids nationwide. In 1986, 2,500 young people under age 18 were murdered. Cities across the country report dramatic increases in this type of violent crime. Tragically, Baltimore is no exception. 3 years ago, a wave of senseless killings on Baltimore streets touched this community when a 16-year-old high school student was shot and killed on this corner by another 16-year-old. Even now, 3 years later, there has never been a motive established for this tragic shooting.
Craig just happened to have walked in the path of that bullet, and he was the person because Robert Garrison had attempted 2 times that night earlier to kill someone, and he was not successful, but his 3rd attempt he was, and it just happened to have been my Craig.
The hurt runs deep in Sarah Cromwell. Her son was a high school basketball star and was looking forward to college. Craig's killer is still behind bars, but Sarah Cromwell says even that does little to ease the pain.
Yes, I still grieve for my son. Yes, I still cry for my son. And I probably will do so for a long, long time.
Craig Cromwell's death forced people into action. Rallies were held urging our young people to stop the killing. A grand jury convened to study the problem of kids and guns.
It used to be when kids said, "I'll pop you," kids meant, "I'm going to have a fist fight with you. If I have a problem with a friend, we're going to fight it out." Today, this police official said to me, when kids say, "I'll pop you," that means I'm going to shoot you with a gun.
The grand jury's findings are shocking. Nearly 400 students were surveyed. The results: almost half of all male students have carried a handgun, and 60% knew someone who'd been shot, threatened, or robbed in their school within the last 6 months. Students say you can pick up a gun easily on the street corner.
I am afraid because the neighborhood I live in, I know plenty of people that do carry guns.
And it's scary, too, because you're scared of getting shot.
Now, school halls are a different place. Lockers are checked. Closed, zippered knapsacks are not allowed, and every middle and high school student carries a computerized ID badge while on school property.
My ID, right, is like American Express. Don't leave home without it. Because if you do, they don't let you in school.
There are fewer guns in Baltimore schools, so the system is working. And this year, Maryland was the first to pass a law banning the sale of cheap handguns. And on a more personal level, perhaps the basketball league formed in Craig Cromwell's memory could also keep some kids off the street. At least, that's what Sarah Cromwell hopes.
I can cheer just like I used to do for Craig. I can jump up and down, and I'm a hugger. so I can give them all hugs. I can't hug my own son anymore, but I can hug them.
This is Al Sanders reporting for Good Morning America.
And we thank Al Sanders. And joining us now, the mayor of Baltimore, Mayor Kurt Schmoke, and also Larry Bergen, who is the chief of security for the Baltimore City Schools. And it's nice for both of you to join us to talk about a problem that faces, of course, many cities. Things are much better, though, here. If you look at the statistics, 4 years ago, 122 incidents, only 45 last year. What's been the key to your success, and are you happy with the progress?
Well, we're happy with the progress, but obviously having one handgun in the schools is unacceptable. But what we've done is we've been able to work with Chief Bergen and the teachers, and we've gotten the students involved. That has been really the key. I was the prosecutor at the time when some of our terrible incidents occurred, and I went to all the middle schools. Larry and some others went to the high schools and got the students involved and basically changed the attitude in saying it's not cool to carry these weapons. We're going to tell, we're going to inform, and then all these other things that you saw with the badges and the searches, all those things kept the pressure on, so that the statistics have gone down dramatically inside the schools. We still have a problem out on the streets of our city, though, and we won't deny that.
I guess changing attitudes is always one of the toughest parts of the job. How much resistance did you get, not just from students, but even from parents when you put in these tighter security measures?
We got very little resistance, actually. It seemed that in many cases there was a sense of relief, a great willingness to cooperate. Part of our effort was to try to impress upon the young people in the schools that they are the victims.
Sure.
That they need to be concerned and to cooperate, and I think we've been somewhat successful.
You have not gone as far as putting in metal detectors, and as they have in some of the schools I saw in Detroit when I was there recently. What, you shake your head immediately no?
Yeah, I don't think that you need the metal detectors if you get the entire school community to agree with the program. Now, if we were doing these techniques and the students didn't help us out, then it would go for naught. But the students have been very much involved in it, and I don't really think that we need the metal detectors.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I'm not at all sure that metal detectors in a school setting are effective. It's just a different kind of architectural place than an airport or a city hall.
Where do they get these guns?
Well, the younger people, sadly, usually pick them up at home, a gun that's legally in the home and not properly cared for and stored. The older young people are buying them, illegal handguns.
And you can even rent guns on the street. That's the problem. See, guns are so available that you can rent it for an evening and carry it. You rent it for a day and come and show you're cool. But what the state ban has done for us, and the reason why I think it's going to be helpful, is that for the teenagers, the Saturday night special is the gun of choice. It's the small, concealable weapon. Put it in your pocket. It doesn't give you more of a bulge than, let's say, a wallet. But if we're limiting or restricting that market, that's going to help us with our youngsters. Now, the other handguns, the bigger ones, are still out there.
Yeah, what do you do? Because if you think about it, it sounds to me like you have to do more than just look at the students. You have to go to the source, which is right outside the school.
Well, it's not only, it's not an illegal source. See, that's the problem. It's guns that are legitimately purchased in the home that if it's not secured properly, if the adults aren't helping us out, then the student will know exactly where to go to find that gun that you think you've hidden, and then it's out on the street.
What about youth gangs? I mean, in particular, we've all seen all the reports lately. Out in Los Angeles comes to mind quickly. Is that a problem here?
Hasn't been in the past, and I don't think, Larry, we haven't seen it show up in the schools, and it's been our really history last 25 years that when gangs have come up in other cities, we just haven't seen it. I'm not sure what it is about the character of the city that has helped us fight that problem, but so far it hasn't come up.
You satisfied with the progress? You still have 45 incidents.
No, not satisfied.
Last year. That's a lot.
Glad that we're showing progress, but as the mayor said, so long as there's one gun in or around the school, it's tragedy waiting to happen.
What do you think you're going to have to do to bring it down the rest of the way?
All the things that we're doing and continuing.
One of the things that you're known for is that you've talked about the idea of decriminalizing the use of drugs.
Right.
I think that some parents would say, wait a minute, doesn't that just let students feel like they can go, it's okay to go ahead and experiment?
Absolutely not, and I'll tell you why. Is that right now, under the way we're treating narcotics, selling drugs is a viable employment option for our children. We have people out here, because of the money involved in that, young people are involved in selling it. These gangs have been created as little distribution networks for drugs, and then you have young enforcers. Those are the ones carrying the guns in order to help this drug trade. My view is that if you take the profit out of this, destroy that market for it, then you eliminate this employment option for our young people.
You can control it then somewhat.
I think we ought to debate it and try.
Debate it and try. Mayor Schmuck, thank you so much.
You.
Mr. Bergen, thank you. And we'll be back. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Nell. Are you lonely with nothing to do and you want something for free? Well, I'm going to give you a free peek of the Tony Award-winning musical Ain't Miss Behavin'. And that's all you're getting for free until you get some tickets and come see me and the Broadway cast of Ain't Misbehavin', because we're saving it all for you.
Nell Carter and Ain't Misbehavin' at the National beginning June 28th. Call 1-800-233-3123.
Introducing DC's Tire. The Goodyear Invicta GL Radial, designed to battle the I-95 traffic and handle the open road. The Invicta GL, now 25% off. Whatever you drive, and wherever you drive it, from Springfield to Laurel, your Goodyear retailer can fit Invicta GL to your car. Sale ends July 2nd.
Being a working woman, and a mother, and a wife, you need your car every single day, and I count on my Acura.
It's reliable, dependable, maintenance-free, and I need those things.
I compared a lot of cars to the Acura, and other than something that cost $60,000, there was nothing that even came close.
I had read all these great things about the Acura, and I didn't think it was in my price range. It's in a lot of people's price range.
Meet the heat. Summer has begun at Mattress Discounters with a gigantic store-wide sale. Every Sealy and Simmons mattress is on sale, including the world-famous Posturepedic and Beauty Rest. Plus, you get a free steel bed frame or 4-piece linen package or delivery, including removal of your old bed and setup of your new with every full queen and king-size set you buy. Beat the heat. Make the bedding buy of your life today during Mattress Discounters' gigantic summer sale.
Have a good night's sleep on us. Mattress Discounters.
From WJLA-TV, Washington, D.C., Channel 7 presents a first look at the day's news on News 7's Morning Report.
Good morning. It's 8:25 in Washington, 71 degrees under partly cloudy skies. I'm Kathleen Matthews. John Harder's off today. A long ordeal for a female employee of the Securities and Exchange Commission has finally ended. Catherine Broderick, an attorney at the SEC office in Arlington, will get 8 years back pay and her choice of 2 jobs after settling her sexual harassment case with the commission. In addition, the agency also agreed to bring consultants in to investigate the actions of employees who were found to have sexually harassed and discriminated against Broderick. Both actions are reported to go well beyond what a federal court would have ordered in this case. For the first time since he shot a backyard intruder this week, columnist Carl Rowan is expected to explain what happened when he takes his regular chair on a nationally syndicated show inside Washington. The incident has mushroomed from a neighborhood clash into a national controversy, with prominent black leaders charging racism behind the uproar over Rowan's actions. Democrat Jesse Jackson has rallied to Rowan's defense, along with a group of black publishers meeting this week in St. Louis.
Had this been a lily-white neighborhood and 4 or 5 black youngsters had attempted to do what these individuals would have done, if that individual had shot one of them, he would have been known as a hero.
The shooting took place early Tuesday morning when Rowan found a group of teenagers pool crashing in his backyard. Rowan fired a shotgun, and 18-year-old Ben Smith of Chevy Chase was hit in the wrist. Residents of some local jurisdictions are being asked to participate in a water rationing plan to help ease the burden on area water facilities. The lack of rain is causing many residents to constantly water their lawns, putting a strain on some local pumping facilities. So Fairfax County, Alexandria, and Prince William County water officials have put a voluntary water rationing program into effect. The Odd Even plan gets underway today.
We think there's plenty of water for everyone to get their watering done. It's just if we can get half the people to water on an odd day and the other half on an even day, based on their street address, then we'll have plenty of water for everybody. We just won't be all going to asking the water system at one time for its watering for lawn watering.
About 800,000 Northern Virginia water customers are being asked to observe the Odd Even water rationing plan. Well, it's going to be a hit-or-miss weekend when it comes to the weather. Stu Kerr tells us about the chances for sun in his forecast, which is coming up.
TJ Maxx. Over 10,000 brand name summer fashions arrive at TJ Maxx every week, so it's never the same place twice.
No, it's never, ever the same place twice. Yesterday, next week, next Saturday night, you get the Max for the minimum price. And it's never, ever the same place twice. It's a TJ Maxx.
The 88s are here. The 1988 Hyundais are in stock now with prices that start at just $53.95. And nobody sells Hyundais for less than Manhattan. We'll prove it. Manhattan guarantees to beat any price from any dealer, or your new Hyundai is free.
Manhattan, come see why we are the first name in imported cars.
88s on sale now at Manhattan.
Well, coming up today on News 7 at 5 o'clock, from Imogene the operator to Little Edith Ann, comedian Lily Tomlin can be many people. Well, tonight she's herself as Henry Tannenbaum interviews the stars of the search for signs of intelligent life in the universe. That's live tonight at 5. And right now, Stu Kerr searches for a little heat relief. Stu?
Well, some of those lawns we just saw are being watered this morning by Mother Nature. Scattered showers all around, as we can see on our radar, actually caused by a frontal system that's slowly coming through and bringing with it the clouds and the showers. We'll take a look at that front now, and we can see how it moves up and down the East Coast and the showers along with it. It'll stay for the next 24 hours, moving just a little to the south of us, but giving us clouds and the threat of a shower or thunder shower and cooler temperatures. Today's high should be about 85. The low tonight about 69 downtown. Another 85 reading tomorrow with the threat of a shower. And then on Sunday for Dad and Dad's Day, partly cloudy, a chance of showers 84. Partly cloudy on Monday and 85. Partly cloudy on Tuesday and 87. Right now, scattered rain throughout the Washington area and 71. Kathleen?
It's coming up on 8:30 now. I'm Kathleen Matthews, and Stu and I will be back at noon with the latest news and weather on the Noon Report. Right now, Good Morning America continues. Have a happy Father's Day weekend and have a good day.
Hi, I'm Barbara Chase from Bryn Mawr School in Baltimore City. Some of our students are here to welcome you to the great city of Baltimore and to say, Good morning,
America! These are the colorful stalls of Lexington Market, a mere 200 years old, one of the many communal neighborhood markets all around Baltimore. And good morning, everyone. I'm Joan London.
And I'm Charles Gibson. It is a Friday, June 17th, and Barbara Chase, Bryn Mawr School.
Yes, we
She's
should
a friend of mine. It's a wonderful place. She's
Your
a
wife,
wonderful
Arlene,
woman.
worked there at Bryn Mawr?
Yeah, she's a terrific headmistress. It's a neat school.
You bet. And those markets we saw really just kind of reflect the keen interest that people here in Baltimore have in good food and good living. And coming up this morning, we're going to show you how to eat crab Baltimore style. I must admit, I took a little sneak preview last night, and I learned how to get into those little guys. And we are also going to be hearing some of the music of Baltimore.
Absolutely. We're going to look at Hollywood's version of Baltimore and Baltimore's version of Hollywood. They have all of a sudden discovered Baltimore as a movie-making center. A lot in this half hour, so we go right away to the news and Bill Greenwood in Washington. Bill, good morning.
Good morning to you, Charlie. Good morning, everyone. A plan to drastically reform the nation's welfare system has sailed through the Senate. Last night, senators approved the welfare reform bill 93-3. It would provide job training and education programs for welfare recipients. Senators hope the legislation will break the cycle of welfare dependency. The House has passed a more costly measure, and differences must be hammered out in a conference committee. Sources say more than 100 subpoenas have been issued to Pentagon officials, defense contractors, and consultants. The warrants request documents or testimony in the massive investigation of contract fraud and bribery. Earlier on Good Morning America, the ranking Republican on the Armed Services Committee said the charges might prompt a wholesale review of Pentagon purchasing practices.
I asked the Secretary of Defense, and he agreed that as the facts are revealed, he must examine this procurement process to determine if it is inherently flawed so as to encourage or permit or induce such alleged widespread fraud and bribery.
A vaccine to prevent pregnancy may be on the horizon. Scientists have conducted the first human trials injecting the hormone-based vaccine into women. Doctors reporting in the British medical journal The Lancet say the vaccine proves safe, that initial results are promising. They hope the vaccine will eventually offer a long-term form of birth control. This evening on World News Tonight with Peter Jennings, a profile of ABC's Person of the Week. Later at 10 p.m., 9 Central, 2020 reports on millions making a pilgrimage to the mountains of Yugoslavia, hoping for a message from the Virgin Mary. Britain held its premier sporting event this week, the Ascot Races outside of London. But horses were only a part of the event. As Jim Hickey reports, Ascot means a chance to see and be seen.
It is a very proper British thing to do. This is Ascot, the high point of the English social calendar. It is also a horse race, but that's almost incidental.
We've all bought something new to wear. It does, and we'll all be able to go home and tell our friends what a lovely day.
That's why they're here, to see and to be seen. The fashion, the extravagant hats, the colorful dresses, the morning suits, all the picture of sophistication and style. And leading the way, the royal family, very much a part of the traditional scene. In fact, it used to be Ascot was the exclusive playground for British aristocracy. Not anymore.
Money is deciding a lot of who goes where and does what. I would say there is not very much class in this paddock, not in the way that there was maybe 30 or 40 years ago.
That may be a little harsh, but there are two sides to Ascot. Over here is the upper crust. Their view of the race is distant, detached.
7-1 the field, 7!
Over here is Ascot 2. Among these folks, forget the fashion. The sport is the thing, up close and personal.
Not interested in the fashion at all. We just come for the racing, for the horses.
Maybe he has a point. For all the frills and finery, for all the social climbing, Ascot is, after all, just a horse race. Jim Hickey, ABC News, London.
He's right there. That's the news. Now here's the weather with Spencer Christian. Spencer?
Okay, Bill, one final in-depth view of the nation's weather from Baltimore. Starting with today's highs, we're projecting another heat wave developing out west over the Rockies. Highs will soar well into the 90s and over 100 in many locations as far north as Montana. That heat is spreading eastward into the plains, but it's going to be a relatively cool day in the northeastern quadrant of the nation, where highs will reach only into the 70s and 80s. The outlook calls for sunny skies over much of the western half of the nation, although skies will cloud up a bit by afternoon over the Rockies as monsoon storms develop out there. A heavier, more concentrated rainfall will move out of the northern plains and into the upper Mississippi Valley today, and that's good news. It'll bring some drought relief to farmers in that region. And a cold front lying along the Atlantic coast and curving southwestward along the Gulf Coast is going to trigger widely scattered showers and thunder showers. Some of them could be heavy at times, particularly in the North Atlantic area, and that again will bring some much-needed drought relief. That's a look at the national weather picture, and here's a look at the weather where you are.
It's cloudy in the nation's capital at the moment, Spencer. Temperatures in the low 70s. We expect the clouds to continue with a threat of showers this afternoon with a high of 85. Cloudy with a chance of showers tonight, low 69. Partly cloudy, maybe thunderstorms tomorrow, high 85.
Now, these imposing doors behind me lead to the Walters Art Gallery. This is Baltimore's premier cultural attraction. The entire collection in the Walters spans 5 millennia, from Mesopotamia to 19th century Europe. And if you go through these doors, you enter a world of beauty. The Sculpture Gallery dazzles with triumphs of the Renaissance. Here are paintings of the late Gothic and early Renaissance. Pass on to view the Walters Raphael in this gallery. And in the Gold Room, a visit to the Baroque period. The Walters has recently reopened after a 3-year, $6 million renovation. It gives us a fresh look at our glorious past. Today's weather was brought to you by Wishbone, and coming up in just a moment, all about the movies that carry a Made in Baltimore label.
Although we've created over 30 wonderful Wishbone dressings, we had yet to come up with a ranch dressing we flipped over. Until now. New ranch and light ranch dressings. Finally, a ranch dressing good enough to be called Wishbone.
What's for dinner? Well, Lipton recipe soup mixes give you days and days of delicious ideas. So what's for dinner? Lipton.
Napa's Best Tool Sale has the best deals on our best tools. Like this Napa 22-piece socket set for only $19.95. And Napa's best quality hand tools are guaranteed for life. Our sale, unfortunately, is not.
This summer, you can have that great party taste anytime. Because now Chex Snack Mix comes in a box.
Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. My hair used to have a mind of its own. Then a few weeks ago, I stopped complaining. I started using Pantene. Pantene's got something in it called a provitamin B5 complex. I don't know what it is, but I know what it does. Because every day my hair looked fuller and shinier. The ends didn't split or look frizzy. No, it didn't happen overnight, but it did happen. You'll see.
Pantene. Serious care for beautiful hair.
And it is now 8:34. When Hollywood producers are looking for a new location, they want something that'll really wow them in the theaters. And more, they are looking to Baltimore, as Joel Siegel now explains.
When Hollywood needed a gritty courthouse for Al Pacino to work out of and Justice for All, they came here to Baltimore. This is the War Memorial Building. It looks like a courthouse. It's not. The interiors were filmed at the real courthouse a block away.
But that's exactly what you said would not happen. You'll have to take the stand, testify under oath.
How do you think I feel about it?
When Hollywood wanted a romantic city spot with a European feel for Isabelle Huppert and Steve Guttenberg in Bedroom Window, they came here, to Baltimore. This is Mount Vernon Place, a beautiful park in the middle of the city.
Mom, come on! Come on! Doing the beauty shop? Yes, come on, Mom, you deserve it! No, Wolfie will kill me! You really think I should? Yes!
When John Waters needed a beauty parlor for Divine and her daughter to get bubbled and bouffanted in hairspray, he didn't have to invent one. Waters grew up in Baltimore. He knew the El Dorado Academy of Cosmetology, gone high-tech for the 80s, was here on Eastern Avenue all the time. For a long time, John Waters was Baltimore's film industry. He and his star Divine made a slew of small underground films here. Hairspray was his first big above-ground hit, and Waters blames Baltimore for its success.
I glorify everything the Chamber of Commerce tries to hide about Baltimore. I like it for all the wrong reasons. But I think that our best product that Baltimore puts out is local color, and I think we do it better than anywhere.
A beautiful block of row houses, a style of architecture unique to Baltimore. And another great film, The Tin Man, was shot right here on Cliffmount Avenue. In fact, Danny DeVito lived down the block, and when he found out Barbara Hershey was seeing Richard Dreyfuss, you know what flew out the windows.
These frilly things, don't you? Don't you?
Barry Levinson, another Baltimore native, wrote and directed Tin Man. His first film put Baltimore on the filmmaker's map and made stars of its incredible cast. Diner.
You always know exactly what to say. I love that. Oh, how old is she?
For me personally, it's about the people. I mean, what I do what I call the Baltimore films, it is about those people from those neighborhoods. You know, I find them, you know, very kind of strong characters. You know, it's almost like my own Damon Runyon world in a sense. So that's what draws me to Baltimore.
The real diner Barry Levinson and his buddies hung out in the 50s had been remodeled so many times it didn't look right. So Levinson found a diner that did and moved it here to Baltimore. After the film, it was given to the city. It's a trade school now and food services for high school kids.
You look gorgeous, Bertha. Simply exquisite.
Oh, I don't know.
Not too long ago, Hollywood would have built John Waters' Eastern Avenue on a California back lot, or shipped Barry Levinson's diner to Burbank, ripped out the windows for better camera angles, and sold it for scrap when they were done. But Hollywood's learned it's not only better, it's cheaper to make a movie on location. The result, the sets are real. The characters become real. Weighty issues of the day made so authentic, you can almost taste the gravy on the fries. And you can't help but join in.
When you want to make out, who do you make out to? Sinatra or Mathis? That's a stupid question. One question, answer that. It's irrelevant, I won't answer it. Mathis.
Nah, Sinatra. Gotta be Sinatra. What do you guys think?
Senor Wences. Right.
Senor Wences?
Senor Wences. He's good. He's the best. I mean, that's good comedy.
The guy's from Tin Men. That was shot in booth 9. This is booth 6. Steve, you finished with that?
Yeah, I'm gonna finish it. I paid for it. I'm not gonna give it to you.
Hey, if you're not gonna finish it...
Say the words. I want the roast beef sandwich. Say the words and I'll give you a piece.
Okay, I want the roast beef sandwich. Friendly people in Baltimore. Pretty good roast beef, too.
All right, thank you, Joel. A cappella at the Apollo, a Baltimore group aims for the stars. Right after this, stay with us.
And I'm lost in the woods. Yes, it's true.
That's it? That's all? You gotta be kidding.
You're done. Sure? If you thought dental cleanings were easy with Tartar Control Crest,
Can't believe it.
they just got easier.
Boy, that was fast.
Introducing new and improved Tartar Control Crest.
You're all done? No.
The new tartar fighting formula that can actually help stop tartar before it starts.
Piece of cake.
Tartar Control Crest, the dentist's choice, is now harder on tartar and easier on you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. It's a sale.
The Kmart Father's Day sale ends Saturday.
Here at San Francisco's Coffee Cantata Gourmet Coffee House, you'll find people who really know their coffee. Today, we're secretly replacing the Cantata's freshly ground coffee with mountain-grown Folgers crystals. Will it be rich enough?
It has a nice aroma.
Tastes like good, rich, fresh ground coffee. It's Folgers crystals.
It is? In a coffee house? Tastes like fresh ground coffee that we would serve at home.
This is good. This is nice coffee.
Mountain-grown Folgers crystals. Coffee rich enough to be served in America's finest gourmet coffee houses.
Loved by the working man, craved by eager audiences, considered tasteful by people in high places. They're the California Raisins, and they're in Post Raisin Bran, where those super big superstars are making it really big for big raisin taste. Stay tuned.
Dear John, I have a new love. So sweet, so rich. New chocolatey Black Forest cake from Weight Watchers. Dreamy cherries, creamy topping. I've gone for more. Love, Lynn.
And you are looking at Pier 6, where summer music concerts are held here in Baltimore's Inner Harbor. The season actually opens tonight, and it's now 9:15. Baltimore, of course, is a very musical city. The Peabody Conservatory is here, one of the fine music schools in this country. But there is also good music of the streets in this city, and the sounds are great. These young men are called the Final Chapter. It's a Baltimore-bred group who began singing on the streets, collecting quarters for their songs. Now they've got a shot at the top prize at the Apollo Theater in New York in August. The final competition may take them, or may make them actually, the Apollo's Amateurs of the Year. Tony Coates, Alonzo Coates, Anthony Coates, and Paris Alexander make up the group. And with me is Thelma Coates, who is mother of 3 of these young fellas in the Final Chapter, and I guess sort of the inspiration of this group, right?
I believe I am.
Yeah? Now listen, there's Tony Coates, there's Alonzo Coates, Anthony Coates. How did Paris get in the group? How'd you let him in?
Paris was a friend of theirs. We met about 8, 9 years ago.
You were a singer when you were young?
Well, I wanted to be.
Yeah.
All right. And I felt as though I could sing a little bit, but I never had the chance.
And then you started having boys.
I had boys.
And you got them singing. How young?
Well, before they could even talk real good, they seemed like they was trying to sing. You know?
They were humming before talking,
humming,
right?
Yeah. And I used to play a lot of old records.
Yeah.
Oldies but goodies. I like them, like Billie Holiday and
Right.
Sarah Vaughan. Those were my idols, you know.
And then suddenly you heard them singing on the streets one day, right?
Yeah, well, at first I thought there was a fight or something going on the corner. I looked out the window and I saw those crowds, so naturally I runs out. When I go down the step, I hear this harmony and singing, so I go across. There they were.
How old were they then?
Oh, I guess they couldn't have been no more than 11, 12, 13 years old at the time.
You got them singing in a group.
Yeah, well,
they singing on the streets, and now all of a sudden they may go big time.
Well, I hope they do.
We've got, what are they going to sing for us?
Whistle.
Whistle? Mm-hmm. All right, guys, song is Whistle. You're on.
If I had a wish, my wish would be this, that you be here with me, but that's a fool's fantasy. 'Cause while I'm singing in this song, you're laying right there in his arms, with your eyes on the past. But I'm just here to ask, do we have a chance for our love? 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 Think back in your mind when we made love that first time. You have never been touched, and we love each other so much. So many painful memories that I carry here with me, reminding me of what's wrong, with no hopes to go on. So tell me, do we have a chance for our love? Do we have a chance for our love?
We'll be back right after this.
Do we have a chance for our love? Do we have a chance for our love? I want to know, girl.
Morning. What, no kiss?
Oh, sorry. Lips that touch sugar and preservatives will never touch mine.
Okay.
No. Oh, I want real commitment.
Nutri-Grain?
Mm-hmm.
New Kellogg's Nutri-Grain biscuits.
Biscuits?
Think positive.
All right, no sugar added, no salt, no preservatives. I'm positive I'm going to hate this.
Introducing the only shredded wheat with no preservatives. Nutri-Grain biscuits.
Oh, okay. Now let's talk commitment.
New Nutri-Grain biscuits.
State Farm is there when women need life insurance.
Whether she brings home a paycheck or works full-time at home, nobody does more for a family than a mother does. That's why so many women talk to State Farm agents about life insurance. We listen, and we help make sure that everything a woman wants to do for her kids gets done. I know how she feels. I have a family, too. Just like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Let me demonstrate the differences between the Isuzu Trooper and a Cherokee.
Oh.
Good question. Well, four-wheel disc brakes are standard on the Trooper, not on the Cherokee. The Trooper comes with skid plates. The Cherokee doesn't. Power steering is standard. Nice try. Altogether, the Trooper is over $1,300 less than the Jeep Cherokee, and I'm not just blowing smoke signals.
Now there's optional automatic transmission available on the Trooper 2, as well as a four-door model.
Last year, in this country alone, 30,000 Cadillac owners came over to Lincoln. In fact, this past March, Lincoln Continental outsold Cadillac Seville 3-1 nationwide. Whether it's the world-class luxury of Lincoln Continental or the uncompromised elegance of Lincoln Town Car. But one thing is certain, a lot of Cadillac owners have been coming over to Lincoln. Maybe it's time you did. Come on over to your Lincoln Mercury dealer and experience the luxury of Lincoln today.
And it's now 9 minutes before the hour, coming up on 8 minutes before the hour of 9 o'clock. And they say you really haven't visited Baltimore unless you have eaten steamed crabs. But if you've ever worked with crabs, you know that the hard part is getting to that good meat that is inside, cracking them and then picking them. And we have an expert with us to show you how it's done. Shirley Phillips of Phillips Crab House here in Maryland. She's been doing this all day, not all day, but every day of your life. Show us how you can do it. Can you do it for speed?
Okay.
All right,
I'll show you
you're
how
on.
they do it in the commercial
Put a
plant.
stopwatch on here.
Okay. This is how it's done in the
And
plants,
look at this.
commercial.
Her fingers never leave her hand when she's doing this.
I want to know how many times you've cut yourself.
Oh, it's easy to do that.
Oh, look at that. You've got the meat out already.
That is amazing.
That is incredible because it is so...
I didn't do it quite that fast, Charlie, at dinner last night.
What did you get? You got the hard-shell crabs? You got the...
Yeah, last night. And
Not only
it's
is
really
she doing
fun.
it quickly, but she's getting about 3 times more meat than most people do.
That's right.
That's right.
And we got the bib.
All right, now we're on
Here
the
we go.
claws.
Here we go.
Wow. All right.
Okay.
An old claw cracker.
Yes.
There we
got
go.
your gavel there. All right.
Oop, we
Not
lost the other
bad,
claw
huh? Not
somewhere.
bad.
That's very good,
Whoa.
though. Very good.
Here's a claw.
Here we
got
are.
another one.
Now, the folks who do it here in Baltimore, I mean, because this is really the regional delicacy. When you're doing this at home, most people do it not quite that fast. Right?
Okay, we'll show you how.
At home, what do I do?
All right. First, we break the claws, Joan.
Take the big ones off first, okay? I believe in getting involved, Mr.
Yeah,
Then we remove the
What'd
back
you just
shell.
do? Here, do
Well,
you...
first you
let me-
take the back shell off, Joan.
Okay.
First you
Here
have
it
to
comes.
pull the
Yes,
back
you're...
shell.
Come on, klutz.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Where do I get it, though? Where do I go? Here we go.
Okay.
Just got it in my eye.
Now, when Shirley did it, it all came off in one piece. Why didn't yours come off in one piece? Notice that I can sit here and comment, but don't have the guts to even try
Okay,
this.
here we go.
We remove
Not
the
me.
mouth and
Okay.
the gills.
And the gills. Which are the gills? These things like
Yes.
right here? Okay.
Then the Baltimoreans, when you're in a restaurant, you break the crab in half
Crack
like
'em
that.
open.
This is not what you want to do on a first date. You know what I mean?
And
It
then
might
you
be your
just
last day.
break it in half. And then you just break the little shell
Where am
around
I?
it.
We will leave
Pull
Joan
the little
London in the
shell
midst
apart.
of this
Here I am,
crab
here's the meat.
emporium here, absolutely lost in the innards of a crab. Join us
And
next
then you
week
have
when we
the big-
continue the story of can Joan London
Oh,
get a
mine
bite of
doesn't
meat
look like hers.
out of... Surely you have done this. We're going to come back. We'll close the show in a minute, and maybe we'll have a bite or two of these
Oh,
crabs.
please
Surely you are very good. Those are very dexterous hands.
Well, thank
There
you.
it is. There it is.
I just met these people.
Very good. Spencer wants to...
Snap-cut grass shears, just $4.99. And the Ace Home Fogger or Flying Insect Killer for just $1.69 each. When I hear honey do this and honey do that, hey, let me tell you, Ace is a place for me.
I've been trying to sell my house for 6 months. Nothing. Then the guy next door puts this sign in his front yard here. Before I know it, his place is sold. I mean, he's out of here.
We've helped more than 1 million people buy and sell homes. We're Realty World, the results people.
What would you do for a Klondike bar?
Would you make monkey sounds? Monkey sounds? Gee, I don't think so. Got the Klondike right here. Rich vanilla ice cream smothered in thick chocolate. No, that's a baboon. I think you've drifted into gorilla. That's got it.
For that chocolate-coated ice cream, loaded big and thick, no room for a stick. What would you do for a Klondike bar?
You don't have to act like a monkey anymore. Okay, fine.
Mr. Minion's avalanche bobsled.
Get $3 off coupons from Giant Food. Good May 22nd through July 1st.
If things aren't going just your way, why not make it a Bradley's Day? And check these low prices. Handy appliances from Black & Decker. The mini food chopper in Minster, $19.99. Cup at a time drip coffee maker, $19.99. The shortcut food processor, $29.99. Appliances from Black & Decker on sale.
You'll get a free buy at Bradley's today. Smile.
Why don't you make it a Bradley's Day?
Good Morning America is brought to you by Weight Watchers Entrees. This is living.
Now, Karen Stone has a look at the stories making news this morning. Karen?
Thank you, Joan. The Senate has approved the most dramatic restructuring of the welfare system in 53 years. The measure would focus on job training and work programs for welfare recipients. A similar version has been passed in the House. More than 100 subpoenas have been handed down in a far-reaching probe of the defense industry. Sources say the investigation of fraud and bribery includes the offices of several House members. The Commerce Department reports this morning new housing constructions dropped a surprising 12.2% in May. And on Sunday, the 7 major industrialized nations open their 14th annual economic meeting in Toronto. This will be President Reagan's last economic summit. And now for a look at weather, we go to Spencer Christian. Spencer?
Okay, Karen, time for our weather wrap-up, and here's what's going on around the nation. The heat wave returns to the western part of the country. Highs will be in the 90s and 100s out over the Rockies and Plains, and there's going to be some drought relief in the upper Mississippi Valley and along the Atlantic coast as rainfall will hit those areas. And that's a quick look at the weather. Charlie and Joan?
And we want to thank all the folks here in Baltimore, and certainly all the folks at WJZ-TV behind the cameras and in the studios that have made all this possible. Remember, it's Father's Day on Sunday, so if you haven't gotten those cards and gifts, go on out there.
Fathers are wonderful people, need to be appreciated. Next week, lots of good guests. You'll want to be here. Shirley Phillips, thank you very much. The crab meat, not bad.
Enjoy being on the show.
Right.
Nice
Thanks so much.
Fastest hands in the East here.
Have a great, great weekend.
Take care. We'll see you Monday.